Well, good morning. Let me just check and make sure the sound is good. Let's see how our audio is. Yes, it looks just fine. Hello, Mila. Mila is being her kitty self. She's looking out the window. Are you looking for Shylock? I bet you are. Okay, let me find. Okay, this is me. All right, there I am. Ah, all right, I'm here. Hello, everyone. Happy brunch. This is our brunch get together. For those of you who don't know what the heck is happening on Sunday, I am Whimsy, and I host a brunch on Sunday where we invite people all over the world to join us. It's 11 a.m. here in beautiful downtown Portland, Oregon, where I am broadcasting, and we extend our brunch table to the four corners of the earth. And we invite you to join us where we have a chit chat. We talk about the week's news. We exchange recipes. We talk about food, what we're eating, what we're drinking. We talk about books. We have a book club that we do. Before we get started, it would be great if everybody could like and subscribe. Think about memberships. Also, we want to announce that we are raising money today. We have fundraisers, usually, if I can remember to put them up on Sundays. We are raising money for AmericanForest.org, and we are trying to rebuild areas that have been hit heavily by fires, etc. Right now, we've been focusing on Hawaii and putting our efforts toward rebuilding Lahaina, which was unfortunately experienced heavy fires last year. All right, I'm just going to get my water. L'chaim, everyone. So, you know what? That water does not taste as fresh as I would like. I think I'm going to go pour me a fresh water. Excuse me for a second. Much better. Why does water start to taste bad if it stays out for like a couple hours? Is it that dust falls into it? Like, what is that? Flowing water has a better taste. I don't know. 79 degrees in Cheyenne. Wow. Well, that's hot. That is very hot for Wyoming, isn't it? 85 in Texas. I think today is going to be 5 degrees less than it was yesterday. We got to a high of 85 in Portland, Oregon. I think the high today is going to be 80. Oh my gosh, my sleep has been all over the place. I woke up at 3:30 and I did a remote view for people. I got to be Donald Trump because, gosh darn it, being Donald Trump is so interesting. I was not happy as Donald Trump, I can tell you. In terms of my breakfast, I got up early and had breakfast. I know you're going to be horrified. I had Cheerios. That is my brunch breakfast. I got up and I had Cheerios. I've been craving Cheerios. What can I tell you? They're oats, okay? I love me some oats. So I had 2 bowls of cereal. I did the remote. Then I got up. I did some work around the house. I had 2 bowls of cereal, and then I closed my eyes for a couple of hours. And yeah, that is what I'm up to. Oh my gosh, 95 degrees in Palmdale. I am so sorry. Yeesh. See, this is why I have to move north. Fresh strawberries, yogurt, and honey. Very good. Yeah, like that's pretty much what you get when you're in Sweden is oats, yogurt, and fruit. is a big part of the diet over there. And fish. I have not had any, I've had fish every day since I've gotten back from Scandinavia. I think it's really good for my body, is lacto-vegetarianism and fish, which I guess is supposedly goat is better for you. But it's not, it's, it's hard to get goat. You got to go find the goat milk, and it's not always the best goat milk. I don't know. But yeah, so that's what I'm up to in terms of my food. I was going to make the excuse me, the announcement of the book of the month. Let me see if I can show this to you. Is this backwards? Yes, it is. This is our book of the month. Let me see here. There we go. The Love of Tayamni. And it's really interesting. It's written by Teresa McLaughlin. And, it's kind of making me feel like this is what happened to humans when they were on the verge of going extinct. This is how I'm interpreting the book. And when we have Teresa here, she can explain it to us. But basically, the human race is going extinct. And then the Council of Nine, the Tayamni, come and they do some genetic stuff that allow humans not to go extinct. And she also talks about the Fertile Crescent, like an area that's in the desert. I mean, and the time period is like 500 something. There's a lot to learn in terms of the culture, etc. But basically, you get the impression that humans, which is true, humans were going extinct all over the world. And about 200,000 years ago, humans learned cooperation. Between 100 and it's probably less than 200,000 years ago, close to about 150, give or take, humans begin cooperation. And through cooperation, they avoid extinction. There's this tribe in North Africa. So you have a matriarchal society, they're going extinct, and then these higher beings come in and they do certain things that prevent them from going extinct. And so it's very, very interesting, and it gets into kind of, the whole idea of humans as part of the celestials, right? The, did aliens come in and keep us from going extinct? Or were they here from the very beginning, helping to some extent? It's very interesting. It's very interesting. It's got this imagery of ancient Iraq, Babylon, Egypt in the beginning. It almost makes you think that the main woman is like Cleopatra, and how, it makes you think about the pyramids and all of the metaphysical stuff that was going on. And it could be because this idea that they're communicating with higher beings that are not giving them technology and keeping them from going extinct. So it's very, very interesting. And again, if you'd like to join us in our book club, the book is called The Love of Tayamni. I think it's a 3-part series. This is book number 1, if you get through it and you absolutely love it. And then the book number 2 that she has is The Judgment of Seth. And I believe there's a 3rd book as well. You know what I'm thinking? This looks like Scarlett Johansson. She would be great for the lead. Very interesting. One of the leads, yeah, she does cool stuff like that. Applesauce in place of sugar for oatmeal. Yes, and there's another thing you can do with applesauce. Unsweetened applesauce you can use as jam in your peanut butter, which is kind of, when you're having peanut butter, you can have it with applesauce. Yeah, they're time travelers. The Tayamni go, they have to find races to save that can be genetically spliced. There's specific criteria that they need in order to save a particular race. Homo erectus was over 500,000 years ago, and he was thought of as the first tool makers, but early tool making happens long before Homo erectus. But it's really, if you look at just straight anthropology, it's a tribe in North Africa that we are all descended from, because yes, there were human beings, not human beings, but hominids had migrated all over the world, but most of those migrations led to extinction. The only humans that survived that we're all descended from are a tribe that there was the genetic contribution of approximately 18 people. 10 women and 8 males, I believe, is what they worked it out to be. And so all of us come from sub-Saharan Africa. And that is why if you get your DNA tested, you'll come back 2% sub-Saharan Africa. Oh my God, how am I have some? Because we all come from the same tribe in sub-Saharan Africa. So we all have the DNA of that tribe still in us if we go backwards in time. It takes us back to sub-Saharan Africa. So if this is taking place 6,000 years ago, then it's not all humans. It's just the humans in this particular place that are having this experience. So that's pretty interesting. Oh, don't give it away, Debbie. I just started. Main character who is raised to believe she was a human, and she's sent to 1962 Mississippi. Oh my God, I haven't gotten to that part yet. Yeah, apple butter. Yeah. And the more you cook the apple butter, the sweeter it gets. Yeah, that's good stuff. Anyway, so that's our book. Yeah, so I started it when I got home, and it's going to be at the end of August. We're going to hopefully have Teresa with us. Well, the other thing we are talking about is we're talking about remote views, and we're talking about the fact that there are serious discussions about kicking Trump out. How can they kick Trump out? That doesn't even make sense. They can't really kick him out because that would cause civil war. So the other thing is to try him. I think it's too late for Haley. It's interesting. I thought they were going to pick Haley, and then I was watching the interview with Omorosa and Michael Cohen. Did you all see the Michael Cohen Omorosa interview? And he talks about the fact that, in fact, that was what Trump's instincts are usually pretty good, and he was going to pick Nikki Haley. And had he done that, we'd be in a very different situation right now. She would have been quite strong as a VP, but unfortunately, he did not pick her. And instead of going with his instincts, he went with JD Vance because the money was behind JD Vance, and it was disastrous because JD Vance actually has a negative rating in the swing states. So he's actually pulling Trump's numbers down. Yeah. Oh, thank you, Anonymous, for the $10 donation to American Forest. You have given birth to 10 trees. For every dollar, it goes towards forest management and the planting of new trees. So we thank you for that. I just think that Vance is not a name that is universally known or necessarily even popular. And I think the people that picked him were interested in what he was compromised on behalf of Silicon, right? Peter Thiel, Elon Musk, etc. He was going to be put in there to work for them, right? And isn't that how democracy works, right? A bunch of rich people put the guy in there, and then he does what they need for them. I think that it's kind of blowing up in Elon Musk and Peter Thiel. It's kind of blowing up in their face, and it's not going well. It's not going well. Also, people are starting to get offended that they're attacking Walz's military record. They're also saying that he's a Muslim terrorist who redesigned the flag to look like the Somali flag in Minnesota. I mean, and the other thing that they're also trying to depict Kamala as Kamala is how you say it, by the way. I looked it up, and I looked at how people are saying Kamala. You're doing it wrong. It's supposed to be Kamala. And then another group is, no, you're supposed to say Kamala. And you guys can fight it out. I listened to her, and she said her name is Kamala. So I am pronouncing it Kamala because that's how the vice president pronounces it. If you got a problem with it, take it up with her. But yeah, it's Kamala. So Kamala is, yes, they're depicting her as a prostitute. Wow, that's really original. Depicting women of color as, sexual objects, right? Kamala, yes, exactly. Very good, Rose. So, really kind of hitting below the belt, very slimy, very racist. Kamala, it rhymes with Pamela. Yeah, I think that it's a race to the bottom, and I think it's really good what she and Walz are doing, in the sense that they are just rising above it and staying positive. And, at the same time, how hard is it going to be to put up those ads of him being liable for sexual assault, pictures of him with Epstein? Oh, God, the guy is, how hard, people are so done with Trump. I mean, his own supporters are not, have you seen his own supporters are walking out on him? They get bored and walked out. It's like Trump fatigue. People are tired of this guy. Mamala Kamala. I like that. Kamala. Yes. He wanted parents to get extra vote. Oh, he's such, you know what? I don't think anybody takes anything he says seriously. Do you? Yeah, Walz is kind of like the American dad, and they're calling him Tampon Tim, as if we women particularly poor women, have a problem with us getting free hygiene care, which has always been a problem for poor women when we're running out of quarters and we can't afford our tampons. I mean, how would the average white evangelical male even have a clue what it's like to be a poor woman who can't afford sanitary napkins and tampons, right? I mean, I remember being young and poor, and I really was struggling to pay for this stuff, starving college students. We really need this stuff. This is, $10, $12 a month was a lot of money, right? For the average college girl or a young teenager from a poor family. Thank God that somebody's putting free. I mean, I wish they had that stuff when I was young. Poor girls have to resort to toilet paper or whatever, right? That's the bottom. And these are things you can't talk about publicly. Oh, you mustn't talk about. No, we just have to suffer with a hygiene problem because we're broke. Thank God people are finally dealing with these issues. So it doesn't make him look bad. It actually makes him look like he's in touch with reality, and he's in touch with what life is like for women, particularly women who are broke and young people who are broke. They don't have money for this stuff. You think this makes him look bad? I mean, like, they're just completely unplugged with what's going on in the real world. Oh my God. Yes, women menstruate. You want to control women's bodies, but you don't seem to know anything about them. Yes, women menstruate. That's what they do. Young girls menstruate. Oh my God. All right, so we're going to go ahead. We'll do the Empath's prayer. Would you all like to have a collective reading about the week? Would you all enjoy that? We are more bonobos, and I think they're more reptiles, and we're bonobos. I think that's what it is. Hi, Jen. Yes, it's not Kamala. It's people keep correcting. No, you're actually wrong. I'm right. So they were driving me crazy for months, and then I looked at what she said. I looked again today at what she said, and I was like, okay, I got it right. You got it wrong. All right, let's do the Empath's prayer. Have you heard about them attacking the Algerian athlete because she is strong, saying she's a trans female? And what I've noticed. The other thing, there's so much I could say. I'm so sick of Netanyahu. And if you're against Netanyahu, then you're anti-Israel. And you are anti-Semitic, and liberals are horrible. I mean, like, what are you talking about? The history of Israel is the history of liberalism. You ever seen a freaking kibbutz? Get these damn people an education. What is a kibbutz? It's a community, right? Who developed it? Socialist and communist, right? Socialist and communist, because communism and socialism is what built Israel. Liberal lefties. Look at all those lefties. Look at these lefties sitting there in their commune. Here's Golda Meir. Socialism, the victory of socialism, the Israel kibbutz, right? So who founded and created Israel? Socialist. Kinder, gentler socialism. Look at that. Look at how the socialist and the communist built Israel. Yes, they did. Yes, they did. Here we are. Arabs and Jews coming together. Look at this, building kibbutzes. Look at the integration that was happening. You see, this is integration. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? Everybody coming together. Kumbaya, right? Where'd that picture go? It was a great picture. Oh, well, so much for that. It's a great picture. This is early kibbutz. You can see the Turkish wear here. A kinder, gentler, more integration. We were working on integration, not religious extremism. It was based on democratic socialism, Bernie Sanders. Our history is a history of liberalism, tolerance, democratic socialism. And we were not interested in this right-wing crap. This right-wing crap claiming that if you aren't right-wing, you're not pro-Israel is, they're hoping you don't know your history. But I know my history. I know my history inside and out. I've read every freaking book I could on Golda Meir. And we grew up in B'nai B'rith camp, it was socialism, socialism all the way, democratic socialism, helping the worker, the Histadrut. The Histadrut was, communism in Israel was, and the Histadrut was the labor movement. Histadrut is labor. It was all about labor. It was all about putting people to work. And she was reaching across the aisle. This was going to unify people. And it was, it wasn't just, she was bringing everybody in. And I guess there are some people who think there's more money to be made from war than cooperation, right? But, here's her husband, Meir. Yeah, it didn't work out. He took a job in Syria. She was just working all the time. She was working all the time. Here she is with Ben Gurion. He was a genius. If there ever was a Messiah, a Mashiach, a Jewish Mashiach, it was Ben Gurion. He was the king that brought the Jews back to Israel. So in a way, it kind of already happened. It wasn't a biblical king, but it was the guy that was going to create the state of Israel. He was going to create a safe. He fulfilled a lot of that, right? The early phases of what we had hoped would happen was the bringing of people together. And then we see this fall of socialist Zionism, unfortunately, being taken over by these right-wing nut jobs. And I don't want this wonderful history to die out of where we came from. Free healthcare, all of us in the field picking oranges, right? That's the Israel that I grew up loving and connecting to. And so it's kind of depressing to see what it's turning into under Netanyahu, where he's tearing it all down. Not only is he tearing it all down, but he's telling you that you're a bad Jew if you support those ideas, which were part of the founding of our country. So don't let yourself be gaslit. Great book to read. I strongly encourage everybody read it. If you'd like to know about the history of this and have your mind be blown, is Golda, The Romantic Years by Ralph Martin. Greatest book ever written. Oh, I spelled the backwards. Let me see if I can find it on. She was an incredible woman. She was just an incredible, incredible woman. She built a port. I mean, she's just amazing woman. Oh, thank you, Katie. Very kind. So when you hear this right-wing cray-cray, where people try to gaslight you, if you don't believe this right-wing psycho nut job cuckoo barrel stuff, then you hate the Jews. Just hand them the book, Golda, The Romantic Years, and say, you work that out. You come back and tell us about how us democratic socialists and liberals are anti-Israel, because you don't know your history. You don't know anything about our country. You don't know anything about Israel. Trust me, Netanyahu is not the history of Israel. He is everything that the founders hated. Yeah. On that happy note, let's do the Empath's prayer, shall we? Well, we got to go back to our roots, right? Which are democratic socialism, tolerance, and integration. Yes, that was what we were working on. Yes, because those are good things. Okay. I want to call on white light protection for myself and this community as we ask permission from Spirit to access the Akashic records. We call on our spirit guides and our good angels to be with us. Please give us the clarity and the wisdom that is needed to empower all of us on our journeys to make the best decisions for ourselves, our families, the planet, the people we love, but also to help those that we may have strife with. And together, collectively, we say, Amen. We were so liberal that socialism was considered conservative. Half of us were communist, all out communist, which is why the kibbutz was communist, right? Hello, comrade. We called each other comrade. We're going to go, the workers in the field, right? So she was a socialist, and that all of Israel was not going to be a kibbutz. There was going to be industry separate, right? So not everybody wanted that. They wanted it to be just communism, right? Yeah, very cool. Okay. Yeah, we were very liberal, and we still are. And Netanyahu completely changed everything. Yeah, I would strongly recommend, you won't regret it, getting Golda, The Romantic Years. I gave you guys a link. It's an excellent book. All right, we're going to go ahead and give everybody a collective reading. This applies to you when you see it. If you find that it doesn't speak to you, let it go, pass it down. It's like a dinner table. Not everybody wants to eat the peas, pass them down. I'm sure there's something in this smorgasbord reading that will apply to you. All right, where you are at right now, the base of your matter is, what kind of a family are you creating for yourself? Do you have a family right now? And have you defined what family means to you? What have you inherited and what are you leaving behind? How have you been able to create a legacy for yourself? This is something we've talked about in the past. The base conversation today is your legacy, your inheritance, and your family of origin, or the family that you're creating for yourself. You have an entrepreneur spirit coming in with the King of Wands, which would indicate that now is a time for you to forge ahead with your ethics and your values, defining what family means to you, what your inheritance is, and what you want to leave. Remember, all of us die. We are all going to die. We don't know how. I mean, hopefully we will live long lives. But we want to build something that's going to live beyond just our own life, a legacy, something that we can gift the world. You know, one of the most loving things we can do is leave the world something that lives on after we are gone, whether it's an institution or a school or something like that. So this idea of forging ahead, for me, I hope that I will leave the world heart-centered remote viewing. I hope that I will be able to finally get the book done. And that's one of my goals, so that future students don't have to knock their heads like trying to figure this stuff out, right? So whatever it means to you, now is the time to forge ahead with being very aware of the legacy that you leave behind. The foundation that you have. Two of Wands is about partnerships and about being willing to create partnerships that have a global impact. There's an importing and exporting aspect, but coming together to create a global awareness. I think we do that every day here. When we, particularly on Sunday, we come together as a global community. We have people in Europe. I like the fact that it's an 11 a.m. get together because everybody's awake. You know, they're awake in Europe, they're awake in China. It's a good time for us. I think they're asleep in Australia. It's a 6-hour difference, right? So they're starting to wake up. I get some early morning people waking up, but it's a good time for most people to be able to join us. Little too early for Australia, but for the most part, it's a good time. Global partnerships, reaching across the aisle and creating a foundation that you can be proud of. Go back to the things you love, and more importantly, be willing to strengthen your former relationships. If you have strong relationships from the past, a Six of Cups is the ability to go back to that which you love or those relationships which were good in the past and strengthen them. Don't let good people slip away from you. Don't let good people slip away from you. If you want good friends, be a good friend. Be consistent, be loyal, return phone calls. These are things that sometimes become difficult when our lives are too busy. But a Six of Cups is about going back and cultivating solid relationships. And don't tear down your good relationships with family members, friends, etc. What is above you? Your own healing. Archangel Michael or Raphael stands in the fourth house. Archangel Raphael is the archangel that is the doctor who brings the elixir, and so that is why Raphael. Also, we think of water therapy and the healing waters. So when we're thinking about the four archangels, we think about Raphael as the one who is associated with medicine. Some people think Gabriel is the healer, but I think of Gabriel as arts and creative things, and also business, money, which is the Pentacles. What you're sitting in is 6 years of smooth waters with Archangel Raphael. Means that if you are consistent with your own healing, you can be guaranteed a solid 6 years, like 6 years smooth with Archangel Raphael. Like I have to take care of my lungs, which are my weakest organ, right? They're doing much better now because I've been really responsible. I also had an infection, but if you do right by yourself, you can be guaranteed a long health, a long life and good health. Your past is the High Priestess. High Priestess is the mystical. It's the person who is seeking for that which is hidden, the hidden mysteries. So you've always been someone that's been interested in the hidden mysteries. For example, the people that come here and have brunch together, we find that we have a lot of fun conversations because we tend to be the same types of people. We're fascinated by the esoteric. We're asking the bigger questions. We love tarot cards and mysticism, but we take it with a grain of salt because we're also highly educated people, many teachers here, but gosh darn it, it's fun, right? And the cards give us a great conversation piece, right? So High Priestess would indicate that you are extremely educated, but also not necessarily PhD, but you're smart and you're an intellectual who's looking for the deeper meanings to things. And this has led you to solid judgment. So I get the impression from these cards that you're somebody that knows how to take care of yourself, and you just have not wanted to do it because your judgment is solid, your knowledge is solid, and Archangel Raphael stands in your fourth house, which is above you. So use the knowledge that you have to heal your own life. Yeah. Where you're at right now, I'm seeing stress at night. Remember, the news is always negative. The news is always negative, and for that reason, it can give you a warped sense of reality. The entire world is not negative, and people are not entirely negative. And if you sit just watching the news, you're going to get this false impression that the world is negative. But the truth of the matter is, good things are happening all over the world. Good things are happening all over the world. We're now figuring out how to clean up the garbage patch in the ocean rapidly. We've got very rapid machines now that can clean up the garbage. We're figuring out how to clean up toxic waste dumps. We're able to repair ozone. We're able to create hydroponics. It's easier to produce food now than in the past, etc. So Nine of Swords is somebody who may be bombarded by thoughts or terrors at night rather than thinking in terms of going towards the good. At night, I want you to only think about going towards the good. How am I going towards the good? Be aware of what you see, closing your eyes. I can't look at this train wreck. Then don't. Focus instead on the good. Focus on the good, like the fact that we've raised $780 to rebuild Lahaina. You know, people are mostly good. You get psychopaths or people with personality disorders only make up, between 2 and 4% of the overall population. 96% of us are decent people, right? Unfortunately, a sociopath can do a lot of damage. A psychopath can do a lot of damage. They can have hundreds and hundreds of victims, right? They say that the average pedophile has 150 victims before their death. So 150 damaged people. You begin to think the whole world is filled with terrible people because of the amount of damage that people with personality disorders have. But the truth of the matter is most of us don't, even as asshole-ish as we can be, let's keep it real, most of us have a strong sense of our values. Your opposition is, your biggest problem is that you procrastinate and you're not about your business. Your opposition is mastery. I get lazy too. I'd rather sit and watch YouTube than write my book on heart-centered remote viewing, even though I have a moral responsibility to complete the book, right? That's another way of looking at it. If you see the judgment is there, your ethics are strong. This is my doctoral degree, right? So I know when I see myself in these cars that I'm stressing out because I'm watching too much, even though the news is actually really positive. I have to pound the books. I have to get back to, I know that I'm procrastinating. Hopes and fears of the world. You fear the future of the world. You fear the future of the world. And the final outcome is your wish has been granted. My wish, I got to keep going forward in life. Don't focus on the negative, focus on the positive. I'm going to be I want to see the world before I die, right? So I'm trying to save my money and live frugally so I can travel the world. So I didn't buy a big house. I got a rent-controlled studio with a cat. And I don't eat out in restaurants. I make my own food from scratch. And I try to turn off lights. I live frugally and simply because it's important for me to see the world. Your wish has been granted is the Three of Wands, waiting for your ship to come in. It's a positive card. And the world is, I see positive things in the future of the world. I think we will save the world. I go forward 3-4 years and it's always a new beginning. I always see that Texas becomes a forest, that the people of Texas shut down the meat industry because it's no longer feasible and they move towards growing organic lab meat. Yes, it's not going to hurt you. Do not be frightened of lab. It's just, if you can drink a beer, you can eat it. It's the same concept. It's just fermentation. The point is that we're moving away from things that harm the world. And there's this new awareness coming in that is good for the world. It is good for us and it is good for the world. It is good news for us. It is good news for the world. The clarification over your stress, be about your business, child. The businessman is over you. Stop dwelling on the past, move forward. Maya Musk, Elon Musk's mother, is actually a really great motivator. And if you have a problem with him, talk to his mother, which is what I did. You look familiar. Don't I know you? Yeah, from Erewhon. Your son needs to do it. Really? I'll talk. Yes, you talk to him, right? But what she says is like, how does she look so young and vibrant and healthy? She learns her lessons and she moves forward. She's stoic and positive, positive. I want to live. She was just in China. I want to see this. I want to see that. And she was a victim of domestic violence and the kids were starving. She couldn't even get bread into their mouth, right? Because of her ex-husband was cray. She's grateful that she learned those lessons. Now she's a strong woman and she goes forward. She goes forward in life. Never look back, don't waste your life grieving the past. How do I make my life from now on as positive as possible? Be about your business, child, and go forward into your destiny, into this positive destiny. The universe has created a positive destiny for you, but woe be it to the person who keeps looking to the past. It's like Lot's wife. She kept going to the past. And the symbol of the pillar of salt, it's the person who's rigid like salt. They cannot change. They live in the past. She looked back towards Lot. She couldn't go. She became stuck, right? That's the purpose of the story, right? I feel like I'm getting overheated and overwhelmed by, lab meat is, I think people don't understand the, how lab meat is made. It's not Frankenstein. It's the same cells and they just grow. It's not gonna, it's safe. It doesn't hurt you. Impossible burgers. I don't really feel good after I eat synthetic stuff like that. I think just pure animal protein that's grown in a lab, that's going to be the best thing for somebody like me. Like, I just digest animal protein really well. Like, now they've got fish that they're growing fish cells. And then you just wash off the fermentation and you've got like a piece of tuna or something. And it's just tuna cells. It's not going to hurt you. But I can't wait till they do that because I think that fish is like really good for you. Slow and steady wins the race. If you get onto the business of your life, you're going to feel like, oh my God, I've got so much work to do. Oh my God, my house is such a mess. Oh my God, look, get yourself organized. Slow and steady wins the race. Be about your business and go forward in life. Go forward. When I wanted to be a doctor, I looked at prerequisites to get into Bastyr University and how many classes will you take? And I worked out that I would have to take it would be 248 credits to be a doctor. Is that right? Yeah. And that I got, if I was full-time, I would do 45 credits a year, or if I also went in summer, 60. So can you imagine and that was pre-med, because I still had to do my pre-med and medical school. So I had it organized like you will have to do 248 credits to be a doctor. Now I could have been like, oh God, I can't, 248, man. 45 a year, and then after 2 years, 90. After 3 years, it's 135, and then another. Oh my God, this is never going to end. It's never going. Or I could just be, what do I need to do next? What do I need to do next? What do I need to do next? I started at community college, right? Most people would say this woman is living in a fantasy. If she thinks she's going to be, oh well, you got 248. Good luck with that. First quarter, doing basic algebra. What do I got to do next? Well, algebra 2. What do I got to do next? Pre-calculus. What do I got to do now? Calculus. What do I got to do? Biology 201, 202. You got to do the 201 and not the 101 because you're transferring to the university. What do I got to do next? What do I got to do next? What do I got to do next? So after 3 years, people, and transferring to the university, wow, I think this person might actually make it into medical school, right? Then I graduated. Then I started hunting for medical schools, got into medical school. Wow, you got into medical school, right? And then you had to do 4 or 5 years of medical school, right? 150 or however many credits, right? So the point is that Knight of Pentacles goes slow. You have this slow energy over you when it comes to your professionalism. And you also have this business person. What is your goal and where are you trying to get to? And understand that sitting around depressed about, oh, my life sucks. What's the problem and how do you fix it? If you know that the best diet for you is pescatarian, and egg whites and low-fat dairy, which is my diet, right? Then why are you not doing it, right? So it's also a card chart that's talking about you taking personal responsibility for your life. That in the end, you take responsibility for your own life. The clarification and the final outcome for you is do not be bombarded by heartbreak. Heartbreak, well, I don't want to try it because I might lose. I don't want to try it because I will be heartbroken. Of course, and you will fail over and over and over again. It's like me trying to learn the guitar. It's, I'm not naturally good at the guitar. Be willing to fail in order to succeed. Be willing to make mistakes. Give yourself permission to make mistakes or you will never achieve mastery. Understand, over mastery comes heartbreak. Oh my God, I'm never going to learn how to play the violin, right? 40 hours a day, like ling ling, they say. You got to play that violin. But rest assured that over the rainbow, somewhere over the rainbow, your dreams will be fulfilled. Be willing to, it's the journey. Failure after failure after failure after failure takes you to success. Be willing to learn from that. Don't be afraid of the struggle. Be afraid of giving up. That is the message from Spirit. It is not for you to give up. It is for you to continue the journey. That is your reading. And I hope it gave you wisdom. What is your legacy? You must begin your legacy and be about your business. And if you are sitting in bed, depressed, letting yourself fall apart, you are in violation of the natural order. It's tough. It's a tough reading. And it's something we all have to remind ourselves of. Yeah, sauerkraut. Be about your business, child. That is one of the entities that comes through that identified herself as Miss Mabel. And she was a person that would take care of children in the neighborhood in the late 1950s, somewhere in the South. We got a hit that she was, we think, from Tennessee and Georgia area. Yeah, like 1958. I learned a lot from Miss Mabel as one of our spirit guides, that there would have to always be somebody sitting there on the porch watching the children because they would get raided, that white supremacists would come and just randomly attack Black neighborhoods, which is, I didn't know the history, and I learned it from Miss Mabel. And so her job was to scout and make sure that the area was safe so that the kids could come out and play. What she says is to be about your business. If she saw a child doing something they shouldn't be doing, or getting themselves into trouble. And that is her mission as the spirit guide, is to be the protector of children. So, yeah. And I believe somebody here may have known Miss Mabel. There were a couple of people that said, yes, I know Miss Mabel. She taught at our school. I think there was a Miss Mabel, somebody said, who taught at Tuskegee. Yeah, so it was very bizarre. This person came in, gave the name, and just was very detailed. And a couple of you said, yeah, we know her. It was pretty crazy. All right, so whenever you guys are ready, we will blitz away, l'chaim, and have some water. All right. So, what is your business? Well, according to Spirit, your business is to do the work of this world that only you can do, and it is your legacy that you will leave that will survive after you are gone, so that others will not have to do the work for you. Yeah. It would be rude of me to die and leave all these students of HCRV without a legacy, and then they have to do it on their own. It's rude. It's also rude to do that to my colleagues and to other students, because I know my job is to leave the world a manual. For HCRV, people get frustrated. I give up. It's like, okay, I'll do it. And every year, Whimsy, is the manual done? Whimsy, well, it's a book. I know I have to be about my business, child. I know. So the message is for me as much as it is. All right. And to be a great naturopathic doctor, I was put on this earth. I was given a calling, right? You have a calling. I have a calling. I'm a medical intuitive. I'm an empath. I'm a remote viewer. But I'm also a really good naturopathic doctor. And that requires me to keep learning my medicine, learning my craft, learning the herbs, learning the prayers, right? Learning, these are things we learn as shamans, as healers, as physicians, right? We're always trying to perfect our craft. Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay, let's get some questions in here. Are we blitzing away? Did I get the order? I don't know. I don't know if I got the order. Oh, I did. I see Copper Broom talking to me. Oh, right. Okay, so we have a question coming in. Thank you, Joel Tilson. He's our floor director. Also give a shout out to Debbie Brady. She is a talent manager and creative director. She helps people develop their channels. She's a wonderful woman, and I'm sure she can give people information if you need to hire her. Okay. Ukraine, as you know, Ukraine is 400 miles now from Moscow. They are marching towards Moscow. They've taken part of northern Russia, and they have surrounded 50,000 Russian troops. Is that correct, Joel? Will other Western countries help? I think so. Because that is basically what Spirit said in 2017. Don't do this thing. If you do, the West will march on Moscow. NATO's going to march on Moscow. They have been very patient setting this up. Temperance. Zelensky has been very strategic. I see addiction. I see drugs. I see a lot of problems with the Russians. This could be alcoholism. I know that alcoholism, drinking, low morale, they're trapped. The hope and the fear, global partnerships. They want to go in and they want to take it. And can they get an okay? Are they going to get the help from the West that they need? Look, he looks towards the West. Also, global partnerships looking towards the West. They're going to have to march on Moscow because of Four of Cups. This denial, this refusal to admit that they lost has literally, they haven't been invaded since World War II. Hello? Yeah, look at that. Over the waters. They're taking Crimea. This is a personality disorder, isn't it? Would you agree? Unteachable. A sociopath doesn't learn. Yeah, it's over. Weapons taken away. I don't even like seeing this because it was so excuse me, it was so unnecessary. Look at them abandoning their post. How many surrendered so far, Joel? Just Armistice Day. Armistice Day. Ukraine wins. It's also a 3-month period. They're going to take a lot of land in the next 3 months. That 4 of Cups. What the heck? I just don't even get that. I don't even get that. I don't understand. Your country, they're marching on Moscow. Does that not worry you, Putin? You don't have an army anymore, right? Okay, let's look at stimulus checks. The economy is very good by next year, very solid with new, strong contracts because there's so much new stuff going on in under Biden. We can see scholarship. The opposition is Trump's card, the King of Swords, the hopes and fears, the Constitution, and you can see the Ace of Swords, which is victory within 1 year. It's likely not only stimulus checks, but just a great economy overall. It looks like there's just so much massive industry and so much, there's just a ton of work. That's what it looks like, to be honest with you. It looks like, look at this. The final outcome is partnerships, 2 of Wands, and Ace of Swords. I think that there are all these new contracts for development and transportation, etc. And then all these companies get hired to be part of that massive stimulus. It's not so much stimulus checks, Joel, as these jobs. It's just massive amounts of an overhaul of our train systems and our transportation, etc., bridges and roads. And as a result, Ace of Swords moving in, a lot of massive business coming in 2024 for the country, which is good. That reminds me of the 1950s when we poured money after World War II into industry here in the United States right after World War II. And that was the explosion of the baby boomers. And it was really great for the economy. And that's exactly where we're headed by next year. All right. All right, the next question we have has to do with our educational system being revamped. And if you haven't had a chance yet to like and subscribe, it would be really great if you would. Also, think about donating to our charity. We are helping to raise funny money. I know we're raising money for the rebuild of Maui. Yes. And not just Maui, but anywhere there's been fires, California as well. Okay, let's look at the U.S. educational system. Very good news for the education system. Very good news. We can see a ton of money coming out to the education system. Also, student loans will be forgiven. If you haven't had your student loan, your government student loans forgiven. We can see scholarship moving into 7th position. Immediate environment is academia, intellectuals, education, And the high priestess, education, higher education, temperance and moderation. And then here it is, loans, money going into education. Yes, expect major changes and more affordability for education in the United States. Education 501s is my education card, exchange of ideas. There was a lot of red tape that had been put up under Bush Senior, etc. A lot of that stuff had to be unraveled. They unraveled a lot of stuff. And Bush Jr., you couldn't bankruptcy your loans. It said a lot of that stuff is being unraveled because that's a red tape card. Yeah, very interesting. Thanks for that question. Oh, possible stimulation. That looked like work more than anything. I mean, just a ton of work. I don't understand. Hakeem Jeffries, Secretary of Health. Is that what you're asking about? Is that Secretary of Health? I don't understand the question. Yeah, so I'm going to have to let that. Well, HOAs go away in America. HOAs, you mean a revamping of the HOA laws? I don't know if we can totally get rid of them because we need them. But let's, HOAs are not a bad idea if they're doing what, if the money is going towards maintenance, etc. But it has to be, they can't just raise them willy-nilly. I mean, it has to be a controlled thing. So laws about HOAs, more what people, we want reasonable HOAs that are, and we want to make sure the roof gets, we understand that we need an HOA. What I don't like is an HOA that starts at 120 and then becomes 350 and then 650, and then you can't get rid of your condo and you're stuck. I think that that's more what people are having a problem with. But let's take a look at HOAs in America. HOAs in America. No profit, no for-profit HOAs. The problem is if people are, well, I want to get paid because I'm on the board. Look at this crash. They're looking at what you can legally do with an HOA. You can't make a profit. You can't steal HOA money. You can't. There are stricter laws for the HOA. You can see here. And then here is an economic stability card. Emperor would indicate that the courts are coming in. That's a judgment or a judge coming in, working with existing. Yeah, it's a good news. 3 of Cups. Also, what is constitutional or legal? So I don't know about the rest of you, but I think the main complaint, we understand we have to have we have to pay maintenance fees. I think it's just more about people were actually making a profit and stuff, and that appears to be a violation. Yeah, and then 6 of Cups would indicate that there are more rights for homeowners. Yeah, it is going to be changed. I didn't know about that, but that's good. I'm glad because it's out of control. Saudi, Russian, and troop planes were in the same area. I think that was actually a coincidence. That might have been a coincidence. But people got a kick out of seeing them landed next to each other. Vance was really weird. He was like walking over to the VP plane. It's going to be my plane soon. And what a weirdo. Oh my God. Was there anything going on with them? I don't think so. I think it's just wherever flight control tells the planes to land. It's kind of funny though. I'm worried about Trump, just from a health perspective. I'm worried about him. 3 of Swords over Trump. Here's Trump. I worry about his heart health. Just as a medical intuitive, I don't like to feel this energy. I feel inflammation in the heart. I take care of everyone as a doctor, even if I've treated Republicans and Trump supporters. It's just a patient, right? Trump, cough. It's just. But no, I'm really worried that this individual, just as a medical intuitive and empath, I feel like the stress is not good for this individual. I feel there's more evidence coming against Trump. He's got another charge coming. Oh, God, I can't handle it. Judgment, and then look, evidence against him. This is a card that denotes the foundation or the blueprint when you're building something, and if it's a legal case, it's building a legal case. He has, I'm telling you, they're looking into Mar-a-Lago and illegal activities that are taking place at some of his properties. Yeah, Jack Smith's right over him. I'll show you. See, look here, Jack Smith right over him. They're taking his money. They bankrupt him. It's exactly what Linda G said was going to happen. That was Linda G's prediction. She said that he will be dismantled financially. That's basically what she said, and that's exactly what it looks like. They got his money. You see? His money? Here. He's bankrupted. They just slowly began to chip. It was like 1,000 paper cuts. Chip, until he was left broke. Four of Pentacles is to pull back financially. I'll tell you, honestly, with Trump, it looks like he quiet quit. All he does is go to rallies and complain that it's a rigged system. People get tired. He has to be up there and talk about something because he's being paid, but he quiet quit. That's what it looks like. He's also complaining about JD Vance. So you look at the film footage and, 20, 30 minutes in, people are bored and his followers are just walking. They're fatigued. They're tired of it all. It's not even interesting to them anymore. His own supporters are bored with him. Oh, yeah, you've got the Love of Tayamni. Yeah, it's a really good book. Thank you for putting that up, Debbie. This book is really good. She is unbelievably, Laughlin is extremely good writer, and her world is, you really feel, you can see the world. If you've ever heard of abduction stories where it's very specific what that world looks like, you really feel that you have to let yourself just go into the world. You just go into the world and let the world take you. And it's not this world. It's an entirely different world with, and it has its own reasons. Everything. It's just really good. But you have to be willing to just let yourself be carried there to this other place. That's the best way I can describe it. Yeah, it's pretty darn cool. It's too late to kick out Trump. Yes, I agree. He's on the ballot, but he did. The other thing is that Elon Musk's super PAC is giving him money to support Vance. So if he pulls out Vance, the money gets pulled out. So the only way you can talk to Elon Musk is you can make a comment on his Twitter, or you can complain to his mother. I complained to his mother, and then she went back and I said, get rid of these damn trolls. You're absolutely right. This is ridiculous. I'm like, is he taking a cut? No, he's not taking a cut. He's cheap. He's too cheap to hire anybody. She didn't say it was cheap, but that was what she implied. He hired, what did he do? Fire 80% of Twitter? I said, well, this is ridiculous. I'm paying for a blue check mark. I want to get rid of the debt. You're absolutely right. It's getting out of control, Elon. Come on now. Well, he got rid of all those people, so now I can rehire. Yes, rehire just to deal with this. Well, we should have a special meeting to discuss the troll problem. Whimsy, why don't you come to a special meet? No, I'm in Sweden having a vacation. I don't want to waste my vacation time meeting with a few hundred people from X with Elon Musk to complain. You know what to do. Hire people. You're going to waste my freaking vacation time telling you how to run your business? But that's the way to get things done. Ignore and go to his mother. It works. It works. Yes, and he got rid of the trolls. It's a lot better. They're still there, but it's much faster. They knock them out much faster now. And I thank you, Maya. You're awesome. Yes. Anytime he got problems, just tell his mother. All right. Vance attacking. I did. Vance is attacking Walz's military record. Yes, absolutely stupid. And the only thing it does is it makes Vance look absolutely horrible. Absolutely horrible. Let's look at the future of Vance. They say that more bad stuff is coming out about him. Is he bad or is he just incompetent? Because those are not the same things. Okay. Thank you, everyone who has donated to AmericanForest.org, helping to rebuild our forests that have been damaged by fires. Much gratitude. 100% goes directly to AmericanForest.org. YouTube does not take any money. That's a common question. Okay, Vance. The opposition loves him. We, the opposition, are seen in hermit mode. So he was not well vetted. He was not well vetted in the sense that they keep digging stuff. He is perceived of as the magician, which can be the trickster. The Three of Cups is the opposition. I see the King of Swords as Trump. So Trump is the main person. Trump hates him. That's basically, Trump wants him gone. So they're talking about replacing him with King of Wands. So Nikki Haley is out. So who would that be? Like Carson? No, didn't Carson die? Is Carson still alive? They're talking about replacing him with the King of Wands. I don't even know who that would be. What a disaster. The Fire King. He's replaced by the Fire King. A better choice, Nine of Pentacles. Who would that be? Not replacing Trump, replacing him. I don't think Nikki Haley at this point can do it. They wanted to do Nikki Haley, but it's too late because her people already went over to Harris. So, but the King of Wands is potentially fire sign male. Could be his replacement. That's weird because isn't it too late? Wow, what a disaster. What a freaking disaster. They really messed up. And I think the reason is because the people that picked Vance are not Republicans. They were independents. So they don't know what the heck the Republicans wanted. He was not someone that was popular with the people that, yeah. What do you guys think about the fact that the GOP demanded Trump, that they refused to see logic, that they were going to do this thing whether it was popular or not? They refused to see where things were headed. They refused to see the fact that this guy was facing multiple charges. They simply, that is also a kind of personality disorder, right? That rigidity where you refuse to face reality. And they're in this situation because they couldn't look at the situation objectively. Had they looked at the situation objectively and picked Nikki Haley, we'd have a very different race right now. Okay. Will the Ukraine invasion hasten the end of Putin? I think so. I think it's really embarrassing. I think that they're marching on Moscow. I think it's exactly, it's just, he didn't learn. Yes, the situation has changed. Russia has collapsed, and Zelensky wins. You can see here, death of the situation. It's complete. The game has changed. Here's Russia. Hopes and fears that they will maintain the aid they need, and then the final outcome, Zelensky's card. So, yes. It's the next 2 to 3 months will be telling, and I think that they will continue to advance. Look, they can try and put as much security around the perimeter of Moscow, pull back and just protect Moscow, which would be hard to penetrate Moscow, but their air defense is wiped out. I mean, look, they have no air defense. I'll do a clarification, but it doesn't look good for Russia. No, they won. The star is over Ukraine. They were delusional. The Queen of Cups they were living in their own delusion, right? The delusional queen who rubs her lamp. They were not in touch with reality. Regarding aid, a heavy load in aid. Final outcome for Zelensky. He grieves what he has lost. You know, look what they did to his country. He still has to bury the dead. They still have to rebuild. They still have to get counseling for the women who have been raped, the children that have been kidnapped and tortured and abused. So there's still grief. It was meaningless. They've also got to tag every single thing that's been stolen as part of the rebuild, and it has to be returned back to Ukraine. That means anybody who took something and stole it, things have to start being returned. Yeah. All right. Well, I think that does it for us. We've been here for about an hour and a half. We've done quite a few blitzes. I hope everybody had fun. And if you're trying to get in for a reading with me, I would love to be your reader. I do offer phone readings. And if you want to have a reading, you can just book through Booksy. The information is below the video. All right, everyone, be kind to all so that all will be kind to you too. And peace out. Many blessings, love and light. God bless. We'll see you next time. Bye.